Rule, I don't usually start with the eyes. I don't usually start with the eyes only because I do enjoy doing the eyes. They're a really interesting bit to do, and I kind of don't want to get them over with too quickly, so I kind of leave them for a little bit. Right, so we're cracking on a bit. I've got a nice light bit of skin just poking through just about there. Something's happening there. Good. There. So we're starting to kind of get a bit more filled in here, aren't we? Which is good, because we've done an hour and a half now, and that's a long time for anyone to be watching painting. So let's just try and resolve this chin. So it's nice to put down some big brush strokes. So varying the brush strokes is kind of important, so not everything is the same all over. So a couple of different brushes, make sure they go in different directions, and if possible describe the form. Right, someone's asked for a close-up look. Absolutely, let's do that. Okay. So hopefully you can see kind of the raised paint, yeah, the chunky paint marks on there, which I think that's really nice as well. That's really important. Like I say, it's not a photograph, it's a painting. Be generous with the paint, have fun with the paint, thin areas, thick areas, quite like mixing those things up. Hi everybody who's just popping in, I'm Amy Jury. I'm doing painting here of Cornelia Parker here from my studio in Brighton for International Women's Day. I hope everybody is having a good day. Maybe checking out some of the other events that are happening. Suddenly I'm back on the eyes again. How'd that happen? Constant fiddling. Okay. Yeah, I feel like we're kind of getting somewhere here. I feel like I probably need to do something on the neck here, because I do want to have that, like I say, she feels to me like a Modigliani, you know, who with these wonderful women with their elongated necks, beautiful elegant figures. So let's see if we can start to get that neck in, which is important. So I'm using this mother colour again, so the base colour, because it's just gets me going. I might add lights and darks to it in a minute. Right, and that comes down like that, that goes like that, that goes like that. Actually, I need to switch to my other picture because I couldn't quite see all the neck there. So this is the picture that's got more detail on it. I don't really want to look at it because it's going to freak me out, because I'll suddenly realise all the things that I haven't included and that I haven't seen. But I didn't want to see everything. So I'm going to try not to look. I'm not going to look at the eyes. I'm just going to keep looking at the general shapes of this neck. The paint is super sticky. I might just put a tiny bit of my solvent, low odor solvent, to thin it out just a small bit, and get that nice greeny brown in again, which is sort of the same colour as there. Push that around there, and then, you know, this jawline, it's indistinct. It's indistinct in the photo, which is good, but it also means that I kind of have to make some decisions. Someone has asked, do you listen to music while painting? Sometimes I listen to music. You'll more likely find me listening to podcasts or audiobooks. I like a good true crime podcast and or an audiobook. Something quite relaxing about hearing about other people being in terrible situations, unfortunately. Okay, I might come in with a bit of something, whack on some bit, kind of greener tones in there. So thank you for joining me, if you have. Really have been enjoying myself, actually. Time has flown by. Whilst we've been painting this picture of Cornelia Parker. Don't want to do an enormous amount more on the neck. Keep it fairly general. Right, so I've got a big decision coming up, guys. I'd absolutely love some feedback. Sometimes I do leave the background in areas of the painting, sometimes I'll paint over all of it. So the question is here, should I paint her hair or should I leave it blue? Because it's quite a nice blue as it is. I could possibly paint this background out so that the blue comes forward. Do I need to go dark with the hair? I'll see if I get some responses to people think whether they think a blue hair, or a lot of people saying leave it blue. Love the hair made of blue. I know, it's quite tempting, isn't it? Let's see if we can just do a little bit of finishing off around the skin here, and then maybe we can make a bit more of a decision here. It's always a difficult one because as soon as I paint anything on it, I can't really take it off again. It will never look as good as that again, because if I wipe it off too much, the acrylic will come off as well, and it will never look quite the same again. Lots of comments for blue. Okay, thank you guys. Gosh, I should do this all the time when I have these difficult decisions in my painting. I just need to do a live stream and ask everybody else what I should do. Right, I'm just going to try and find this edge of this face a bit more. And then I can think about some little background touches and we'll be done. Sort of. I might fiddle with it a little bit before final post. Not an awful lot more. Now I'm wondering if I need to go even darker on this side. Let me just step back a bit and squint my eyes. No, don't mind that. Don't mind how dark that is. Squinting your eyes is always a really helpful technique when you're looking at lights and darks. I'm just going to darken this bit down a bit, where you can try and start to see you've got that balance right. There's always like a nice red ear sitting up there, and I can see some reflected light down here actually. Might need to go in and get my light grey, which I had prepared and haven't used. Here we go. Now that's given me an idea though, now that I've used that light grey. It's quite often you'll see bluish grey tones through the face. Maybe I just haven't really looked for them yet, and if I do, I'm sure I'm going to find some. And then everything changes. We've got some lovely, got those nice greens down here, yeah. Nice green there. Cornelia Parker says blue, excellent. Thank you guys, thank you everybody, and thank you Cornelia for that. That has actually made my life so much easier, not having to agonise about whether that would be a good decision or not. Thank you. Now I have to decide whether I'm going to paint this back a bit. I think I am going to paint this background out a bit, so that we can see the nice shape of the face. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bit of black line in there. I'm quite into a black line. I reckon I've stolen that from Degas, who I absolutely love, favourite artist. Load of black line in his work, which always influences me. So let's see what happens. And then, oops, find this shirt here, and sort of twisting and just playing about with the brush. It's just a sort of drawn element. I'm not sure if it's just because I'm too lazy to actually paint other bits like backgrounds and shirts and stuff, you know, after I've done all the face, but I think it's not that. I think I like the mix of finished and unfinished, mix of sketchy and worked up. You know, it's just another one of those opposites, those differences that you can think about in your painting. Dark and light, warm and cool, finished, unfinished, thick and thin with the paint. It's just makes things interesting. Okay, so let's see how we're doing. We are doing, so got done. We're almost at the end here now. So thank you so much. So yeah, hardest thing is to know when to leave it alone. Absolutely, absolutely impossible to know when to leave it alone. I don't know. I am going to now. Right. I do want to put something down here to find this edge. Face, although that blue is quite nice. See, this is another difficult decision here. I'm not going to ask you guys because that's not fair. I should know how to make these decisions, but I'm going to be honest, I never do. Right, I'm going to mix up a nice light. In the photograph, it's a really sort of light grey, nothingy, but nice and quite fresh colour. So I'm just mixing up here a bit of stony white, I would call that, and I'm going to actually just put a tiny bit of solvent. I'm going to thin it out a little bit so it's not as thick as my usual slap it all on, and I'm just going to see if I can find this edge of the face and hope that this wasn't a bad decision. Edge of the seat stuff. Not sure yet. It will help define her hair, I think, as well, because Cornelia's hair is so fabulous and iconic. It really is a big part of who she is. So I feel like we need to see the shape of the hair. So that's okay, because I could always rub this back even a bit more if it's a bit too much. last chance for some questions in the last 10 minutes or so. There's actually quite a pink colour that I just put down. I didn't really mean it to be pink, but it has come out pink. Oops, sorry, let's keep to that. So I might just put a bit more white in it and thin it down just slightly. How about a few drips? Shall we have a few drips? Let's see. Send a drip off down there, see what it does, see whether that's nice. Now, probably because I'm using a dirty old brush, which is why it's going a bit too pink for my liking here, but I might go over that a bit if I want to make it less pink. But what it's doing is it's just defining the lovely shape of her head and bringing that hair out more. Let me just check that I've got the sort of right proportions. A bit late now anyway. Okay, so a few more questions here. Thank you, Keith. So lovely to meet everybody in this way. I hope you have had fun watching this. Hope you feel inspired to give it a go yourself. Have a try. Remember, you've got yourself as a model. Always you can use photographs. Don't feel guilty. And every one you do, you'll see an improvement. Every single painting you do. Do you have a favourite colour palette used regardless of the sitter? Not really. I suppose well, I say not really, but then yeah, I'll always put some yellow ochre down, and I'll always put some cadmium red and some crimson and some burnt umber and some ultramarine. So yeah, I suppose I've always got those kind of things there. But then I might add and take things away depending on what it is that I'm painting. I don't have many special colours, you know. I do try and mix like the Impressionists, you know, so like being able to mix everything from a small range of colours, not using black really. When I do need to use black, my best black is usually a French ultramarine mixed with whatever brown you've got, so like a burnt umber or a raw sienna, whatever you've got, but mix them together and you get a really nice complex black colour. It's much better than any black you'll get in your tube. Okay, when you feel low, do you find painting helps get you through it? Painting keeps me so busy, yeah, so busy that I barely have time to think about other things. So yes, it definitely helps. It gives you a purpose because it's so involving, because it's so interesting. It's a puzzle always waiting to be solved. There's always something there for you to do, for you to find out, for you to get further in, and that's so involving. It takes your mind off everything. So yeah, it's a wonderful way to work things out as well. Because when your brain is doing something like this, it's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. I like to play Scrabble as well. So working with puzzles, elements that come together, uses an area of your brain which actually frees up, I think this is true, frees up the rest of your brain to sort through things and think things out and to work stuff out. So it's like that. It's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle, and letting your brain relax and figure some other stuff out at the same time. Really, really helpful. Oh, that's gone quite dark green there. Jay says, what style would you say your painting is? That's a good question. Because if you do look at my website, you'll see the sort of the portraits I've been doing recently, but then you might go down and see the sort of more narrative style paintings that I do. And I tend to, for those, my style is generally, I will be looking at vintage photographs or going through archival film footage and finding figures and gestures that I like and using them in paintings. I don't really know what you call it. I think maybe you call it narrative paintings. But yeah, so I just find figures from photographs and do what I want with them. Okay. I probably need to go and have a cup of tea and a break and then come back and have a little look at this and then do a few more tweaks. So I think what I'm going to do is finish there, and then I'll maybe do 10-15 more minutes on it later, and I'll upload it so that you can see the finished product later. Okay, I'm just going to show you a bit of a close-up so you can see what's been happening. Don't be afraid of using lots and lots of paint, being generous with yourself, seeing what happens. Well, anyway, that's kind of what I've done today. I've really enjoyed painting my picture of Cornelia here today for International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day, everybody. Thank you so much to the Tate for asking me to do this special session today. I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, get back to work, everybody, and happy painting. All right, bye-bye.